Many of you have been asking me, what is my take on the insanity that we've just seen with VinFast? VinFast, this new electric car company that doesn't really produce anything yet, in the US that is, has just floated on the US stock exchange through a SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisitions Merger. Basically, it's sort of a way that you can fast track your listing on the US stock exchange and hopefully get some money and some cash out of it. That's essentially what this is all about. However, this is actually, when you look at it logically, just one big scam. In fact, the fact that this isn't being somehow scrutinized or even prosecuted by the SEC shows that the entire structure is rotten to its core. And it's absolutely astounding that this sort of thing is allowed to happen. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans and you're watching The Electric Viking. VinFast stock has already collapsed by 18%. That said, it's still worth more than Rivian and Ford combined. Now, at one point it was worth nearly more than Ford and General Motors combined. But my question here is, my friends, I'm going to get straight to the heart of this issue. If you were to buy VinFast stock, what exactly are you getting? I mean, the truth is here, the CEO owns 99% of the company. They've only floated 1%, a single 1% of the company. You can imagine how incredibly volatile these shares will be. Now, if you bought into VinFast, if you've done that now, well, you must have some serious brass balls. You're going to need to hold on for the ride. This is like, you're going to be basically on a roller coaster 24/7. This stock is going to be so staggeringly volatile because of the fact that only 1% of the company's shares are available for purchase. 99% are owned by the CEO, the major kingpin of this company. And the truth is here, no one even knows what you're getting. Now, let's say you bought General Motors. You can get a vague idea of what you're buying into if you do a few hours of research. Let's say you did the same thing for Ford or whoever. Volkswagen Group, that will do your head in. But most other companies, you can get an idea. With VinFast, well, no one really knows what you're actually getting. So this is a company, right, that is floated on the NASDAQ, the US stock exchange. However, it's a Singapore-based automotive company that's founded by Vingroup, one of the largest private conglomerates in Vietnam, that was founded by Pham Nhat Vuong. Now, established in 2017 in Hai Phong, it is the first Vietnamese car brand to expand into global auto markets, as well as the first to expand into producing electric vehicles, such as EVs and electric scooters. On the 14th of August 2023, VinFast announced it had completed its merger with Black Spade Acquisition Company, a special purpose acquisition company owned by Black Spade Capital. If that doesn't sound evil to you, then, well, I don't know what does. Now, if I was to go through the history of this company over the last 5 years, your mind would be blown, but you'd also be very bored. The truth is, it's been through so many ups and downs over the past 5 years that it's truly astounding. It tried to launch in Australia. It bought massive swathes of land, hired engineers everywhere, and then it cancelled the project and has listed its assets for sale before producing a single thing. It did the same thing in Europe. It's basically a car company that, it exists in Vietnam, does very well selling primarily gasoline and EVs in Vietnam, but, well, not in the United States. VinFast made its first effort to become a public company 2 years ago in early 2021. Sources told Reuters that the automaker planned to merge with a special purpose acquisition company in the US. On the 28th of May 2021, the plan was put on hold due to SPAC scrutiny. VinFast announced a year later, on the 7th of April 2022, that it planned an initial public offering through a Singapore-based holding company. A few weeks later, on the 24th of May 2022, VinFast announced that it would be moving its headquarters to Singapore, with the company stating that we feel that Singapore is a jurisdiction that will give investors more confidence. Singapore will be its legal and financial headquarters, while Vietnam remains its operational headquarters. However, at the same time, the company said it would again put its plans to go public on hold. VinFast announced in July 2023 that it was planning to merge with a SPAC operated by Black Spade. The move allows the company to avoid the process of issuing an IPO. The transaction valued at $23 billion, was completed on the 14th of August 2023, and the company finally went public. VinFast purchased a 1,800-acre parcel of land in North Carolina. They say that they now have permits to begin making a factory that will open to build EVs in 2025. So right now, VinFast doesn't produce any vehicles in the US. And even though it has tried to sell its EVs that it produces in Vietnam in the US, almost no one has wanted to buy them. It's been heavily criticized for the vehicle's quality, and not just that, but for their very confusing rent scheme. They want to rent an EV to you. You can buy the car and then you rent the battery, but you pay a monthly fee. It turns out by the time you actually work out how much it costs, it's about twice the price of actually simply buying it yourself. However, for the project in North Carolina, VinFast have received something which is definitely worth something. The state of North Carolina has given the company $1.2 billion in incentives for the project. And most importantly, if it does produce EVs in the US, which it may or may not, considering its past history and its past plans, which have been changed many times, those EVs, though, would qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, assuming it was using batteries that were also manufactured in the US. Now, no one knows where the batteries will come from or whether or not those will be made in the US, but I assume that they would be. Now, this is really a company that no one seems to fully understand. So far, the company has only sold 19,000 electric vehicles worldwide, and it's been mercilessly mocked by car reviewers, after which it tries to sue them. Now, this has happened to me, Alpha Motors, right? I made a video about Alpha Motors. It was a very open video. I did a lot of background research on the company. It's a big scam. Alpha Motors tried to get me banned from YouTube. This is the kind of thing VinFast does when they don't like the reviews you give them for their products. Now, if that's a company you think is worth more than basically twice the value of Ford, because simply it has already sold 18,000 electric cars worldwide in its entire history, and it plans to build a factory in the US, then, well, jump on board. I mean, hey, personally, I think you'd be better off playing blackjack at the casino. I think a 42% chance of winning would be much better odds than this. Now, really, if you wanted to take a big risk and a big gamble on an EV manufacturer, wouldn't, say, a company like Rivian be a better bet? At least they actually make something in the US and they have a proven track record. They're very, very transparent about what they do, and the product is quite good. Reviewers say it's good as well. Now, this week, its shares skyrocketed to $65 billion market cap valuation. That placed it ahead of Ferrari as the 8th most valuable car maker in the world. In fact, it was even worth more than the Volkswagen company. It also marked the biggest debut for a new EV startup since Rivian founder RJ Scaringe took his company public in the biggest IPO of 2021. But we all know what happened to the valuation of those Rivian stock. Rivian floated at a valuation of $130 US, making it the third most valuable automaker in the history of mankind. I didn't make that up. That's actually true. Well, today it's actually sitting at a pretty good number. It's at $21. It's had quite a significant rise. However, for around about a year, it was sitting at a valuation of around $15 US. That's from a high of $129.90 when it initially floated. And here's the thing. After this listing was made, the net worth of Vietnam's richest man and founder of a conglomerate that operates everything from real estate to hospitals and schools soared from $5 billion to $45 billion simply by making 1% of his company available for purchase. There will be a rough road ahead though. Investors should be very cautious. I mean, honestly, if you own the stock, I think you're absolutely crazy. Either that or you're a genius and you're about to sell at a massive profit. I don't know. But the stock price, like I said, has just gone down by 16% and it will almost certainly collapse within the next 12 months. Now, if you're Australian and you listen to this video, I wasn't talking to you. I can't offer Australians investment advice or I might be fined $400,000. But if you look at the valuations of pretty much every new electric vehicle startup that has used a SPAC acquisition to begin their company on the stock exchange, you can see they've all been a sad story that's ended in tears. And I've tried to warn people against investing in them ever since I started this channel. I warned people against Rivian. I warned them against Lucid. I warned them against Nikola, and they didn't listen. I'm doing the same here, but here it's probably even worse. The figurehead of the SPAC movement, Chamath Palihapitiya himself, warned companies must demonstrate their business model can be truly profitable. That will be very, very difficult for VinFast, given the mixed reception to its debut model, the VF8, that was received at launch. And realistically, it's a car they don't even make in the US, and they barely sell any at all right now. Numerous outlets published negative reviews, with Motor Trend calling for a return to sender. That's probably the most harsh thing I've ever heard Motor Trend say. While Road and Track argued the company's freshman effort at an EV for the US mass market was both embarrassing and simply unacceptable. Over a 90-minute drive, the 5,600-pound SUV never stopped bobbing, swaying, and bucking, producing near constant head-tossing motions. The magazine's test critic wrote, "Riding in the passenger seat, I became car sick for the first time in many years." So far, just 850 have been sold in the first half of this year. That's according to market research from Cox Automotive. And this is a vehicle that received an incredibly unfair amount of publication, marketing that they didn't even pay for themselves. I don't know where the hoopla came from. There was so much attention to VinFast. Websites just blew them all up as if this was some amazing reincarnation of Tesla, and clearly it never was. Now, this is not encouraging news for a company that even now, following a 22% drop in its shares on Wednesday, is still worth significantly more than every US car maker except for Tesla. This criticism hasn't dissuaded its chairman, or indeed, of course, its newly found, very, very, very rich CEO, from achieving their broader aspirations, raising the stature of their native Vietnam on the world stage. It is our hope that VinFast listing will inspire and unleash opportunities for Vietnamese brands to participate in the global market, said the CEO. Unfortunately, I believe the most likely scenario is that this will all end in tears. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.